The samurai code, no one was meant to find. Every samurai carried a sword. But not every sword was meant to be drawn. Some blades were ceremonial, some were symbolic, some were never sharpened at all. And yet, the most mysterious swords were those that were razor sharp, perfectly balanced, and completely untouched by blood. In a shrine in central Japan, there is a katana said to be over 700 years old. Its edge is flawless, its handle worn by generations of hands. But microscopic analysis reveals something impossible. There are no combat microfractures on the blade. It has never struck bone. It has never struck armor. It has never struck another sword. So why was it forged? According to a hidden tradition, some samurai were trained not to fight, but to threaten fate itself. Their swords were not weapons. They were symbols, a message carved in steel that said, "Violence is possible, but unnecessary." This is psychological warfare before psychology had a name. The presence of power, without its use. Modern nuclear deterrence works on the same principle. The weapon exists not to be fired, but to ensure it never is. The samurai understood this centuries ago. And the mystery is not why they fought. The mystery is how often they won without fighting at all. Bushido is usually translated as the way of the warrior. But that translation hides something important. The original characters mean something closer to the path of those who serve. Serve whom? Most people assume it means serving one's lord. But ancient texts hint at something stranger. Serving the system, serving continuity, serving stability, even when stability conflicts with truth. Embedded within Bushido are contradictions that never fully resolved. Compassion, yet obedience. Honor, yet deception. Loyalty, yet silence. These are not flaws. They are features. Because Bushido was never designed to create heroes. It was designed to create predictability. A predictable warrior is more valuable than a brave one. A predictable society is more valuable than a just one. This is the ghost code. The invisible algorithm beneath the philosophy. A system that trains individuals to sacrifice themselves not for ideals, but for structures. And here is the terrifying part. The samurai did not disappear when the feudal era ended. They evolved. Their armor became suits. Their swords became contracts. Their castles became corporations. Bushido did not die. It scaled. And if you have ever stayed silent in an unjust situation because it was safer than speaking, then you already know the ghost code. You are already living inside it. In 1582, a castle burned. History records it as betrayal, a sudden coup, a strategic collapse. But one detail never fit. A samurai walked into the flames. Not to fight, not to escape, but to deliver a message. Witnesses said he moved slowly, deliberately, ignoring the screams, ignoring the collapsing beams, ignoring the fact that every step brought him closer to death. He reached the inner chamber, knelt, placed a scroll on the floor, bowed, and vanished into the smoke. The scroll was later found intact. Inside were 3 characters: "It is finished." Finished what? Some believe it referred to a rebellion, others to a clan. But a recently decoded cipher embedded in the scroll's calligraphy revealed something stranger. Each brushstroke's angle corresponded to an astrological map. Each character's spacing matched a time cycle. The message was not about that night. It was about an era. The samurai were ending their own world. Not with a battle, but with a decision. Because the age of silence was over. The age of secrecy was over. The age of hidden systems was about to collapse under the weight of too much information. The samurai did not fail. They retired. And the fire was not destruction. It was transition. Most people think the samurai ended in the 19th century. That modernization killed them. That guns replaced swords. That factories replaced castles. But systems do not die. They migrate. The samurai ethos did not vanish. It went underground. It embedded itself in institutions, in corporations, in bureaucracies, in military doctrines, in schools, in social expectations. The idea that loyalty matters more than truth, that endurance matters more than happiness, that silence matters more than justice. These are not medieval values. They are modern operating systems. And the most chilling part is that they still produce the same outcome. Individuals sacrificing themselves for structures that do not love them back. The samurai who never died is not a man. It is a pattern. And patterns are harder to kill than people. Here is the secret no textbook will tell you. The samurai were never about war. War was a side effect, a symptom, a malfunction of a system designed for something else entirely. The samurai were about continuity, about preventing collapse, about absorbing violence into themselves so society would not tear itself apart. They were shock absorbers for civilization. That is why they valued endurance over happiness, loyalty over truth, death over dishonor, not because these were noble, but because they were stabilizing. The tragedy is not that the samurai fought. The tragedy is that they forgot why they existed in the first place. They were not meant to die beautifully. They were meant to live invisibly. And when invisibility failed, everything burned. Every samurai, at some point, faced the same unspoken question. What is the purpose of loyalty, when the thing you serve no longer deserves it? Bushido had no answer, because the system could not survive if that question was allowed to exist. So the samurai learned to replace the question with another. What must I do, instead of why must I do it? And that substitution changed history. It created heroes. It created martyrs. It created legends. But it also created silence. And silence is where systems go to hide. The mystery of the samurai is not how they fought. It is how they obeyed. And the most dangerous obedience is not to a tyrant. It is to a rule that no one remembers writing. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stayed quiet when you should have spoken? Have you ever followed a rule you knew was wrong because breaking it felt dangerous? Have you ever sacrificed your own well-being for a system that did not know your name? If so, congratulations. You have already passed the modern samurai test. Not because you are brave, but because you are predictable. And predictability is what systems crave. The ancient samurai were not special because they fought. They were special because they absorbed contradiction without breaking. But here is the difference between then and now. They had swords. You have choices. The greatest lie ever told about the samurai is that they were warriors. They were engineers, not of weapons, of behavior, of loyalty, of silence, of sacrifice. They built a machine that could survive chaos by convincing individuals to become smaller than the system itself. And that machine worked, for centuries, until it didn't. Because eventually, every system encounters a generation that asks the forbidden question. Why? Not how do I serve? Not what must I endure? But why should I? That question ended the age of the samurai. And that same question is ending old systems today. The real mystery is not what the samurai were. The real mystery is whether we are ready to stop being them. You do not carry a sword. You do not wear armor. You do not kneel before a lord. And yet, you carry the same code. Every time you choose silence over truth. Every time you choose safety over justice. Every time you choose obedience over integrity. That is Bushido's ghost. Not in temples. Not in scrolls. Not in history books. In you. The samurai were not meant to be remembered as warriors. They were meant to be remembered as a warning. And now that you know the code, the question is no longer what the samurai would do. The question is what you will do. Thank you for watching. Japan's history still hides countless secrets and we're just getting started. If you want to uncover more mysteries of samurai, ninja, and ancient Japan, subscribe and join us on this journey through time.